Hello, Sagittarius. This is the love readings. I'm doing every other week, like love reading 1 week, general reading, love reading, general reading every Friday is what I'm shooting for. So this is yours. The first half is relationships. The second half is for singles. For the main read, for the tarot card portion, it's going to be the Morgan Greer. I'm just stuck on these lately, by Paul Foster Case and Arthur Edward Waite. And the support cards, the Romance Angel cards by Doreen Virtue, which may or may not show up. We'll see how it works out. Alright, so Sagittarius. Okay. Now, alright, so if this, all in all, looks like a good reading. I just want to say, before I get too far into it, looks a little kind of rough around the edges to start, but let's see what we got here for you. And I do notice it's kind of pushing over, like, I feel like there's some pressure you're putting on your partner here. And it might be very warranted, should I say. I don't feel like it's for no reason. I don't feel like you're being irrational about it. Like, you're pushing for answers, and I feel like it's going to work out in the end. So this is for Sagittarians in relationships. Where you're each standing now, 4 of Rods reversed for where they're standing, which makes me feel like they're worried about where the relationship is going. They're feeling like there's an upheaval in the relationship. You're the Knight of Swords. You're pushing to get some answers. This is the pushing. Okay, so you are pushing for getting some answers. You're pushing towards them. Because you're like, if you want to do this, like, you know what, you're going to communicate a bit more with me. It does work out in your favor. It's very interesting because I feel like you're communicating, but you're also taking a lot of action. Communication is very good. The action, you got the Ace of Rods. On your side, their action is the Two of Swords. Like, they don't know what to say, what to do. You're making moves. You're moving things in a certain direction to let them know, like, you know what, if you're not going to make an answer, I'm going to create a different situation. I'm going to fix this my own way, the way I want to. Both of these cards are in the spots that this is what holds you back. Granted, this could be the lack of action on your side. This could be denoting that. It depends on you. This is a general read. When I do these in personal reads, I can tell like which way it's going based on the person, but since it's a general read, it's either one of two things. You're either moving things forward at rapid speed, like you're making a change here, and you're taking action to figure out what you want to... You're just not waiting for them to tell you. You're going to find out, or you're deciding to move on in some respect. It's kind of what I'm feeling. I don't feel like you're actually moving on, but you're taking steps like that could happen. For some of you, though, this is saying that you're kind of... No, I feel like that's where that's sitting. Alright. Sometimes it can, like, because it's in the challenge position, it can be the lack of action. I don't feel like that's how it is for you guys, though. And they don't know what to do. They're just like, oh. But I'm not sure exactly what's going on here. Well, it is a general read. What I do know is that something on their side, they're thinking that they really... the relationship's in trouble, and they're worried. They're not taking action. They're not really doing anything. I feel like they're kind of falling out in a sense. They're kind of going, either they're like vacant from the relationship right now, or they're just like dead weight in the relationship right now. Something along those lines where they're not really participating. They're not. I don't feel like there's much going on. Not much communication. Not much involvement. So this is like what the problem is, because I feel like in this situation, I feel like there's definitely a problem. They're feeling like they're feeling like the world has come on down on the relationship, and this could be the apocalypse of the relationship. I feel like that's what they're worried about. Spiritually, they're not taking any steps to correct or deal with the situation. I'm kind of getting like a vacant feeling with them. This is what's holding them back. Now, once they move on from this moment, because I don't feel like it stays there too long, Like, I feel like they're starting to take action. Like, I almost feel like the action you started, they're trying to counteract. And I feel like they're kind of like showing you how much they appreciate you. They're trying to save the relationship. Alright, so if this reading is hitting for you, they're trying to save the relationship. Okay. This is what they're doing. That's giving you a lot of freedom. You have the Nine of Swords reversed. Now, some people feel like this card, no matter how it shows up, it's a negative card. For me, I feel like you're still feeling the weight of the situation, but it's kind of flipped it for you so that you don't feel like you're kind of forced to do things on your own. You're starting to get that feedback you want. I wouldn't say you've kind of moved on or it's like freed you from the situation completely, but you're getting answers now. You're getting communication. They're starting to move it back into your court. They're starting to respond the way they need to. So it's kind of like you're sort of bound, but you're getting what you want in the sense of you want the communication, you want the information, and you're kind of bound by what you're hearing. It's kind of like one of those things you asked for it, now you're getting it type thing, and you do need it, so it's not like you don't. But like it might be a little bit oversharing in one sense. Like there's might be some things you're like, well, I don't know if I want to know that much, but I need to, so. Okay. Now, where are we going next? This is an interesting situation. Because I feel like you know that something's not right on their side. And you're pushing to get an answer. And you're doing what you need to. You're being very active. What's this activity, like, this is getting you the answers. Like, you're pushing. Like, you're physically doing something. I feel like you're getting out there and you're getting your fingers in things. Like, well, if you're not going to tell me, I'm going to find out. That's how it comes through. It's also kind of matched. You have two aces. You have the Ace of Swords in your spiritual sense. You're communicating. You're like, and I feel like, again, this is like, well, if you're not going to communicate with me, people around you are, and someone's going to give me the answer. That's what I feel. Or at least explain what's happening with you. And I'm saying that mostly because the Knight of Pentacles is reversed. I don't feel like I feel it's very vacant and void, and you're just like, I'm not accepting that. I'm going to find out what's going on. As we go into this next spot, you got the Hanged Man on your side, and you got the Ten of Rods on their side. I feel like I feel like you got your answers, and they finally told you, and it's but now that they've done so, now they have to live with the repercussions. And you're kind of sitting there, kind of like, I feel like you're kind of dumbfounded, and you're kind of like the Hanged Man just kind of hangs there, can hear and see everything, and can even talk, but like his mouth is not covered, but he can't get out or move away from the situation or change things, at least not right now, not while he's hung up. And I feel like the shock or the dismay of what has just happened is kind of like, okay, and you're talking and you're listening and you're communicating and you can see things, but you're just kind of like, what am I supposed to, I don't know what to do. I know what to say, I can talk about it, but I don't know what to do about this. This is helping the situation because it's the Moon reversed. The situation is finally being brought to light. You got the answers. You knew something wasn't right, and now you know what it is that's not right. Okay. While they didn't really want to tell you, and they were having a hard time coming to terms with it, by you getting your answers and bringing the situation to light, you have freed them from a lot of, I don't know, I wouldn't say you've freed them, because they still have burdens, because they have to, like, deal with it, but a certain, like, as in relation to you, they've released a lot of burdens, but there's some other things to answer for still. So I'm seeing this, like, this victory card. This is one of the victory cards to me, the Nine of Rods. I was going to spell it staves, same diff. They're feeling a lot more free with you, but I still feel like there's other burdens based on what's just happened. So this is interesting because they have there's kind of a conflicting situation where they're going to end up burdened, but they still, the fact that you pulled this out of them, It's released a lot of, do I want to say guilt? Depending on your situation. I feel like the situation can now be dealt with. And I'm wondering if that's what we're talking about here. Because it's almost like he has this rod in his hand like a bat. Like he's going to go to, like, to go fight the battle. Like, he's like, it's time to deal with it. It's time to start. And I feel like what's going on with this is what's helping it. Like, you bringing this to light, forcing this person to bring it to light, is making them go to the next step. And they're like, well, these are all the rods I have to start swinging now. I have to deal with each one of these. Like, there's 10 here. And, like, sometimes this is like holding your position, but I feel like he's moving on, and he's starting to deal with life, and he's starting, he or she, because it can be, it's a general read, so let's not get held up on that. But now, I also want to note that with this relationship read, this can kind of flip-flop, depending on how this is hitting for you. When this finally comes to light, these cards might flip depending on your situation, and that person might become even more burdened because they realize things have to change. Whatever the situation is, you may be like, well, that might have happened, but things are going to have to change clearly because of what you've done, or what you're a part of, or what has gone on. Things have to change. And I feel like they're going out and they're addressing that, and they're facing it. Now that it's come to light, though, whatever it is, you did get it out of them. You got the answers, but now the situation has to change because of it. One way or another, depending on what it is, they're either feeling more free with you, and they're able to handle it with your support, or they're kind of more burdened that now you know, and now it has to be handled. Either way, there's going to be some success and some burdens, because he's either, this person, he or she, whatever, is going to have to go out there and either deal with it, or they're going to have to face you and deal with it that way. Like, it's one or the other, it feels like. Maybe both, but most cases one or the other. Either they have to sort it out with you, or they have to sort it out socially, or whatever the situation is, but it still has to be handled. It seems a little confusing to me because there's something going on that side. And since it's a general read, I can't like pinpoint what exactly it is. But I do know that you're going to find out what it is, and it's going to have to be handled, and this is going to change how you view the situation. And at the end of this portion, you're going to have to decide, like, all right. Like, I feel like you're just kind of be stuck there, like the hanged man. Like, I don't know what to do, and you're going to wait to see what they do next, and then it's just going to be like day by day, moment by moment, just to decide what you want to do next, or how this is going to be handled going forward. It might be a little rough for a little while because of this, depending on how long it takes you to kind of settle into it. Okay. Now, see, I haven't used any of these support oracle cards in the relationship part yet. I'm guessing because they end up going so long, and there's so much information on the relationship ones. Let me get into the what do you call it? The single version. Because, like, I look over at the deck and I'm like, do I want to? And I'm getting a no. Like, you know, whatever was said needed to be said. Maybe the information comes out. I'm not one just to pull out cards just to pull out cards. It's just how it works for me. Like, some people, it's good either way. It doesn't matter. But I feel like if I just pull out a card that just says the same thing, I'm just kind of jammering on for no reason. Singles for Sagittarius. Singles for Sagittarius. Okay. There's a hidden aspect there. Alright, so Sagittarius singles. Alright, I was gonna... Do we want to do these? I'm not really feeling like the need, but I'm not... Let me just shuffle them a little bit. I don't want to go through this whole reading without any of them, but maybe we don't need any. I'll leave it to the side. Lack of chemistry. Getting chemistry at the bottom, which I think is why we got the 8 of Swords at the top here for you. So if you're a single Sagittarian, I've had this, I think, with a couple other signs where you're kind of like, you're not feeling like you can create a change right now. You're not feeling like what you're looking for is out there. No, this isn't your case. Or maybe you do see what you want and you can't get it. So you might, if this is hitting for you, it might be more of a case of you know who you want. It's just not going to happen for one reason or another. I'm getting somebody in the past, the Page of Cups, with the Five of Rods right behind it, which means there's somebody that you cared for, or maybe may have been in the beginning stages, but it was more conflict than anything else, or had an air of conflict. Well, it could have been the situation and not so much your relationship with them, but the situation around them or around you. Okay, so with a general read, there's someone in the past that you're kind of like, you might be still pining for. But there was conflict there in one sense or another that you have kind of moved on or tried to. I feel like you've tried to be patient with it and you're trying to wait for the right time to come around, thinking you might get another chance, or there might be an opportunity coming forward at some point when things change. Yet, I'm getting like, I'm thinking the other person moved on. I'm getting a Three of Swords with the Emperor. The Three of Swords, I feel like that's heartbreak, like something has ended here, but the Emperor makes me feel like you have a position where you realize done is done. You learn from it, you're moving on, you're trying to. In the next spot you have the Four of Swords, which makes me feel like you're kind of stuck. You're trying to move on from it, you're kind of stuck with some feelings that you're kind of dealing through, you're working through. It might take you a little while just to process this, but I do feel like you're going to. I feel like it's going to kind of move on soon enough. The other side, there's a lot of burdens there. Now, the heartbreak of the situation might be that it's not getting any better, and you're just thinking it's going to be constant fighting, and it's just not worth it. There's an interest there, but not such an overwhelming interest that you can't bear the thought of moving on. There is some, but not so much that you can't handle it. So you're just, I feel like around you, like around this person, around this situation, in some form, there's conflict, and there's just too much. It's just not. It just feels like it's doomed before it even starts. So you're like, why even go to that? Why even start that when it's already destined for destruction? I also feel like, but I'm getting like there's a lack of chemistry here. And maybe that might be why you're kind of moving on as well. Either you have interest towards them, or they have interest towards you, but you're both not on the same page with it. One of you is not really interested. I feel like for some of you, somebody's coming towards you, and you're just like, I'm not really into it. And you might have been thinking about it, but the heartbreak may be more on their side than yours. But you're kind of feeling like you don't want to be critical, or I don't know how to put this. You don't want to damage a friendship or some type of relationship. For some of you, I'm kind of getting this is like someone, like an in-law or something like that. I don't want to say you're related to them like by blood, but somehow they're connected to your family, and you're just like, I can't do that. Like I'm not going to do that. And I don't really feel like, I don't know. There's a lack of chemistry here in one sense or another. So you may not want to anyway, but the interest keeps coming towards you, and you have to finally be like, you know what, I can't, and I'm not going to. And you stand firm on that, and you let it be known to this person. It's not going to happen. But you're still trying to be nice and diplomatic because you know this person isn't going to leave the situation, so you have to deal with them going forward one way or another. So you're trying to be as cordial as possible without putting any wavering part of it. Like you're trying to show that you're not wavering on this. This is where you stand and it's done. But you're trying to not be mean at the same time. Okay. As we keep going forward, your last card is the Ten of Pentacles, which I feel like you're going to break from this. Whatever the situation is, even though you're not in a relationship, this person coming towards you, you are going to break from this, and it's going to be fine. I feel like at some point, I feel like when you stand as the Emperor, you make your point, and then when you just don't make a move going forward, it settles in and it's a done deal and everything's fine. After that, I do feel like there's a lot of feeling bound and stuck. You have the Hanged Man in your thoughts. You have the overall energy, the Eight of Swords. You have the future, this Four of Swords. Like, I'm feeling like it's a stuck, like there's not a lot you can do to make this, to like create a lot of change. The best you can do is just kind of break someone's heart and just try to stand firm and just let them figure it out. Like, it's done. Like, this isn't going to happen. And I feel like you're kind of stuck in this situation is more of a better way to put it. And when you kind of say what you mean and you just stick to your guns, you just I feel like it's more like waiting out the storm, to be honest with you. More kind of like waiting it out. You wait it out and it kind of moves on. I was hoping for something better for a love reading, but sorry. I don't know, I have to just read it as it comes. You are in a very stable position though. You already know, like the King of Pentacles is where you're standing, the Emperor in your near future. I feel like you've already made your decision where you are in this situation. I don't feel you wavering with it. So whatever's going on around this person, or even though there's a little interest, I don't understand what that means, because there is a lack of chemistry here. You are going to move past it. I don't feel like any major upsets in the future. There might have been some type of upset in the past, but I don't see any in the future. I feel like you're just kind of holding to yourself and just kind of waiting for it to pass. Okay. Anything else with this? Is this right side up? No. I feel like even though you're going into the future, moving on from it, I don't feel like this person's going to leave the situation. So I feel like it's going to be one of those things where they're always around. But you've kind of set the tone here. You've kind of said your piece, and I feel like you're kind of putting it to the back of your mind, and you're trying not to create anything from it. Be that with you and this person, or be this, like, I don't feel like you really even want to talk about it that much. Like, you're trying to, like, make it kind of disappear. And you're feeling like, you know what, I shouldn't be obligated to have to deal with this ridiculousness. I'm just going to act like it didn't happen and not talk about it, and it should go away. Although I do feel like there's going to be an underlying current going forward, because I feel like this person stays in the picture, however they are now. It's just something that sticks every now and then, just kind of comes to the surface a little bit and gets you to, you might make certain decisions to not be around them. Like, you might want to do something, but you find out they're going to, and you just kind of bow out. Not saying that you're bowing out because they're going to be there, but you're just like, oh, I forgot I had to do this or that. So you're kind of bowing out of situations in the future just to stay away from them. I feel like that might happen. They might also pull the same thing. So that might be like a thing, because I don't feel like it's as bad for you as it is for them. Whoever has the interest, it's worse for that person. That would be kind of obvious, but okay. All right, well, I hope this reading worked out. First time going through the love reads, so I hope this worked out. This is the single side. Of course, I always welcome the comments. And if you want a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com, james4astral@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a good day.